Welcome to Marina Bay Sands. Let's explore Singapore.
Before engineers could build a structure nearly 200 meters above the ground, they first had to solve a problem hidden beneath it. Much of this area sits on soft marine clay, making the foundation just as important as everything built above it. The solution was to transfer the enormous loads deep into the ground through a carefully engineered foundation system.
This was the beginning of a project that would eventually transform the entire skyline around Marina Bay.
The scale of the construction site was already enormous before the towers had even begun to rise.
Every section had to be measured, aligned, and checked before the next stage could begin. Then the building began its long climb upward. Floor by floor, the first tower began to rise above Marina Bay. Then the second tower followed, changing the shape of the skyline once again.
And finally, the third tower began to rise beside them.
At this height, even a small mistake could become a serious engineering problem. The three towers were becoming massive vertical structures, but the most unusual part had not yet arrived. As the towers approached their final height, the real engineering challenge was waiting above them. Three towers now stood nearly 200 meters above the ground, but they were still missing the structure that would make them famous. Now engineers had to assemble something far larger than an ordinary rooftop. Huge structural sections had to be lifted hundreds of meters into the air. At this height, precision mattered more than speed. Every connection had to meet the structure with extraordinary accuracy. Piece by piece, the gap between the towers began to disappear. From below, it was beginning to look less like a roof and more like a bridge in the sky. Every connection was another piece of the system that would eventually carry the enormous structure.
The structure continued to stretch across all three towers.
From the air, the shape was finally becoming recognizable. But what looked simple from a distance was becoming extremely complicated up close. The final structure had to behave as one system while connecting three enormous buildings. This was where architecture and structural engineering met. And slowly, the strange shape that would define Singapore's skyline began to appear. The giant structure was almost complete.
The steel skeleton was disappearing beneath the finished architecture. And finally, the impossible shape became real. But building the structure was only half the challenge.
Because a skyscraper is never completely still. Wind pushes against it. People move across it. Temperature changes the materials. And the three towers can move independently. The problem was not stopping movement. It was allowing the system to move safely. The connections had to absorb those tiny differences
without turning movement into failure.
Every step, every gust of wind, and every changing load becomes part of the system.
Inside the system, engineers also use damping technology to help control unwanted vibration. These systems are designed to reduce motion and improve comfort. The goal isn't to make the building perfectly rigid. The goal is to control how it moves. From the outside, you barely notice any of it.
For the people standing on top, the engineering disappears into the experience. And that may be the greatest achievement of all. Because the most important parts of the building are the parts you cannot see.
Behind the architecture is a complete system of loads, movement, connections, and foundations.
Every load has somewhere to go.
And every part of that system has to work with the others. At the bottom, all of that complexity eventually reaches the ground.
From the ground to the sky, the building is one connected system.
And that is why the giant ship above Singapore does not simply sit on 3 towers.
It is part of the structure.
A structure designed to turn 3 separate towers into one extraordinary landmark.
From a distance, it looks almost impossible.
But impossible is often just engineering we haven't understood yet. What looks extraordinary from the outside is often the result of thousands of hidden decisions. And once you understand the system, the strange shape begins to make sense. The ship isn't really a ship. It is a giant piece of engineering designed to make something incredibly complex look beautifully simple.
Why did Singapore put a giant ship on top of 3 skyscrapers? From this vantage point, the scale of the city is breathtaking. A dramatic drop into the heart of the metropolis.
The scale of the work at Marina Bay was unprecedented. Day and night, these cranes reshaped the coastline.
If we integrate the transport hub here, it connects the entire lower section.
But what about the wind shear on the taller towers?
The simulations show we need to adjust the cladding slightly.
Look how small the city looks from up here. Wow, I can even see the stadium.
Look at that view down there.
It's amazing how high we are.
See that building right over there, the tall one?
Ah, yes, it's beautiful.
From the ground, it looks like a giant ship, but hidden inside is a system designed to work with movement, not against it. Because the world's most impossible structures are often the ones hiding the most remarkable systems.